Hello, and thank you for tuning in to the 2018 USA Combat Wrestling Nationals, hosted this year in St. Louis, Missouri. Today's tournament will determine which athletes will represent Team USA at the 2018 Combat Wrestling Worlds in October. My name is Ryan Ford. I'll be your commentator for today's event, and if you love grappling, you're going to love what you see here today. Combat wrestling is an exciting sport that all styles can appreciate. If this is your first time checking it out, welcome, and allow me to give you a rundown on the rules and what you can expect to see in today's event. Each match has a duration of 5 minutes. I'll explain the overtime rules momentarily. Athletes can win via points, submission, or disqualification. The ref's whistle starts and stops the action, and competitors are identified by red or blue apparel. Athletes can win via submission. They can win via a technical victory, which is when one athlete gets 12 points ahead of his opponent at any time during the match. And finally, they can win via majority points after time has expired. Now let's take a look at how points are scored. For throws and takedowns, a 1-point score is awarded for takedowns or throws that do not lift the opponent above the hips of the attacking wrestler and land him either on his belly or on his butt. A 2-point score is awarded for throws or takedowns that do not lift the opponent above the hips of the attacking wrestler and land him on his side, be it the hips, shoulder, or ribs. And a 4-point score is awarded for throws or takedowns that land the opponent directly on his back, whether above the hip line or not, or any takedown or throw that lifts the opponent off the mat above the hip lines and lands them in a valid landing position. It's important to note that takedowns that land on the hands, knees, or elbows are not valid and not scored. If a wrestler jumps to guard, it will count as a takedown for their opponent. Throws and takedowns must have continuous motion to be scored, and takedowns or throws initiated inbounds but land out of bounds will still be scored. When it comes to illegal takedowns, no spiking of an opponent on their head will be allowed, no throws against a joint, and no slamming is allowed, which is defined as specific intent of using the ground as a tool for impact. As far as positional points go, a 1-point score will be awarded for the mount position held for 3 seconds, and a 1-point score will also be awarded for a back mount position. 2 hooks must be in place and it must be held and controlled for 3 seconds. It's important to note that in combat wrestling, position points can only be scored once per match, per wrestler, per position. Wrestlers can also score points for securing a successful pin. A 1-point score will be awarded for pins that last 10 to 19 seconds. 2 points will be awarded if the pin lasts 20 to 29 seconds, and a 4-point score will be awarded for a full 30-second pin. It's important to note that a maximum of 4 pinning points per wrestler per match is allowed, and to be very clear, a pin does not end the match. A valid pin is recognized when a wrestler has pinned the other on the mat with torso-to-torso control that is past the guard and free of leg entanglement. Chest-to-back control is allowed as well if the attacker is not being threatened by a submission. A pin is broken when the bottom wrestler's shoulders are tilted past a 90-degree angle to the mat. When it comes to submissions, chokes, joint locks, and leg locks are permitted except for the following. No heel hooks due to the wrestlers wearing shoes, no cervical or spine locks, no small joint manipulation, which means fingers, toes, or wrists, no standing submissions. You can start a submission standing, but you must finish it on the ground, and no head scissors. It's also important to note that submissions are broken if the defender stands up and lifts the opponent off of the mat. If the opponent stands in base while defending a leg lock, this breaks the submission as well. As far as overtime rules go, if there's an even score at the end of the match, the following criteria will be used to determine a winner. The first step is the wrestler with the least amount of cautions wins. If both wrestlers have an even amount of cautions, or if neither has any cautions, the wrestler with the highest scoring takedown will win. If the takedown scores are also even, 2 3-minute extensions in time will be permitted with sudden death rules. The first wrestler to score 2 or more points wins. And after the 2 3-minute extensions, if there's still no clear winner, the judges will pick a winner based on activity and attempts to finish. A caution is a sanction by the judges delivered to wrestlers for a foul or for non-combativity. Cautions will be indicated on the scoreboard with the yellow and orange circle under the wrestler's name. Fouls include use of the closed guard position, any attempt of a banned submission or takedown, or any unsportsmanlike conduct. Non-combativity is defined as failing to engage from standing or ground, continuously retreating out of bounds, not making active forward progression during a takedown or submission attempt, breaking a clinch without a follow-up or counterattack, or fleeing the mat to escape a submission. And that pretty much sums up the rules of combat wrestling. Our officials are currently explaining these rules to the athletes, so while they do that, I'll take a moment to introduce our officials to you. Our table judge is Sambo Steve Kepfer, our center referee is Vlad Kulikov, and our mat side judge is Anthony Pastorillo. These guys are all experienced grapplers and dedicated instructors, so all of today's athletes are in great hands. All right, and we are ready for our first matchup of the day. This is from the 68 kilogram division. This is between Daniel Rodriguez and Devin Whitehead. Both these guys out of Illinois. Daniel Rodriguez representing Damian Maya Chicago. Devin Whitehead representing Piazza Martial Arts. Both these guys former high school wrestlers. And we are underway. Devin shoots in quick for a double leg. Nice chin strap and front headlock for Rodriguez. He's turning that into a guillotine. Let's see if he can make this work. He's flaring out the elbows. He's got full control on the neck now. And that's it. Quick win for Daniel Rodriguez. Very nicely done. Let's see that again. Devin shoots in here for the double. Rodriguez sprawls, gets the chin strap, sits back into the guillotine. He can't lock a full guard, so he's opting to keep one leg inside and just throw the left over the top. Looks like he's going for the arm-in attempt at first, but he decides to transition to full neck control here. Flaring out his elbows here, kind of like how Marcelo Garcia likes to finish guillotines. Very effective technique. And Devin's forced to tap. Very nicely done by Daniel Rodriguez, wasting no time at all in his first match. All right, next up we have the 74 kilogram division. This is Brett Milano and Travis Kirby. Brett Milano from Des Moines Judo. Travis Kirby wrestling out of Oklahoma, so he's no stranger to wrestling. Shoots in quick for a double, and that's going to be a 1-point score. Kirby scoring early, coming out aggressive early on. Great strategy. Milano goes for a shot. Kirby stuffs it. He's got the chin strap. He rolls through. Oh, but they're out of bounds. I don't think that's going to... Yeah, they're going to have to bring that back to the center. Nice attempt, though, by Kirby. Referee Vlad Kulikov setting him back in the middle. Kirby looking to... looks like an accidental eye poke. Looks like he's okay, though. Travis Kirby dropping levels here, trying to look for an opening. Picks the ankle. Brings him down. That's going to be a 2-point takedown. Very nicely done. He's stacking up points early on. Milano's got a guillotine attempt here, but I think the back of his head, yeah, it looks like it's cleared. Good attempt by Brett. Kirby now is going to work to pass this guard. Milano looks like he's feeding an arm underneath the leg there. Might be trying to transition to a leg attack here. Kirby has tight control over the far shoulder, though. Now he's turning in. Looks like he could be setting up a choke here. Milano's got to be careful of this. Travis might be trying to get some pinpoints here, but he's in the half guard, so he's not going to be able to get pinpoints from this position. Milano feeding through. Looks like he's trying to get to a leg entry here. See what he can do with it. There's a toe hold, and that's it. Nicely done by Milano. Great awareness there from the bottom. Great aggressive start by Travis Kirby, but Brett Milano very crafty from the bottom with the toe hold setup. And that's going to be our first match for the 74 kilogram division. Let's take a look at this again. This is where Travis was threatening a choke, but then it looks like he opted to flatten him back out. Not sure if he was thinking he was going for pinpoints there or not. But either way, Brett Milano takes advantage of the situation and gets a nice leg entry here, feeding the arm all the way through. Transfers his left leg to the outside of the hip here, which secures Kirby's leg in place for a nice toe hold setup. And there's really nowhere to go for Travis at that point. All right, and coming up next, we've got our first 82 kilogram matchup for the day. This is going to be between Myron Crawford, who's a student of Ellsworth College, wrestles there, and actually also wrestled at the high school we're holding the venue in today. And his opponent is a crafty veteran, Michael Kelly. Michael Kelly's competed all across the country. He's won several national titles, wrestled it all through high school and college. Myron admittedly does not know any submissions. He's strictly a wrestler at this point in his career. Michael Kelly, known for his front headlock control, And using that effectively here so far to keep Myron at bay. Crawford's going to have to be a little creative here to get through this this front headlock and the defensive wrestling that Michael Kelly has built up over a long career. Michael Kelly laying heavy here, trying to break down the posture and break the base of Myron, feeding in for a leg. Great balance shown by Myron Crawford. Avoids having points scored on him. They're going to get set back to the center here. Michael Kelly, a 10-time USA World Grappling Team member. He's been wrestling for many, many years. Very well-known grappler throughout the Midwest. Myron Crawford trying to figure out a way to pummel to the inside here and get to one of those legs. Crawford really likes single leg takedowns. Looking to try to set something up here. Both wrestlers getting a caution at this point. Myron shoots in. Another great sprawl by Michael Kelly. Good front headlock use. Great defensive wrestling. Our officials here are going to talk for a second. Set back to the middle here. Here we go. They're going to continue. We're about halfway through the match at this point. So far, no score. Each wrestler has a caution against him. So at this point, they're going to have to be very careful about non-combativity or making any fouls whatsoever. Because if it goes down to a decision based on an empty scoreboard, whoever has the least amount of cautions will win. Michael Kelly using a firm collar tie there on the necktie there. It's in on a single. Let's see if he can get this. If he can score, this is big because we're short on time in this match here. Myron Crawford pummeling that right leg to the outside. It looks like he's defending pretty well here. Michael Kelly feeding to the outside leg. Let's see if he can turn that into a double. Myron's pretty aware of that, I think. Post to the hand. Very nicely done. The butt is not on the ground, so that's not a score. And they are now out of bounds. No score. Great defense by Myron Crawford. Really well done. That's probably spent a pretty good amount of energy from Michael Kelly. If Crawford can try to land a point here, he may win this one. For this event, Crawford and Kelly are the only two wrestlers in the 82-kilogram division, so it's going to be a round robin between these guys. It'll be a best of 3. Myron Crawford trying to use a head tie himself, trying to stagger the footwork of Michael Kelly to maybe get in on a single. Kelly again using that front headlock and his sprawl. It's good defensive wrestling skills to keep Myron out from dropping levels and penetrating his base. Myron in hard on an ankle, and it looks like that might have, yeah, okay, so that's not going to score because it wasn't continuous motion. It was a great attempt by Crawford, but he didn't have the momentum continuously moving forward. It did stop from Michael Kelly's attempt at posting and sprawling there, so no score on the board yet. We're getting pretty short on time here. Again, if there is no score and an equal amount of cautions, we will go to a 3-minute overtime. Sudden death rules. These guys are going to have to work to avoid that. Got about 40 seconds left on the scoreboard, I believe. Myron in on a leg. Nicely done. That's going to be a 1-point takedown for Myron Crawford. He's got about 30 seconds left in this match, so if he can cruise through or score again, he will be able to glide through to the next round. The emphasis is now going to be in Michael Kelly's hands. He's going to have to get aggressive here. He is down on points, short time, they're even on cautions. Michael Kelly needs to score here. Nice defense by Crawford. And that's time. Myron Crawford takes the first round of the best of 3 between these guys in the 82 kilogram division. Gets a win over the crafty veteran. Let's take a look at some of this again. This was some great back and forth action here. Great defensive wrestling as well. Here you can see Kelly going in on the single. Myron doing his best to keep his right foot to the outside of the thigh. Kelly is able to step around it, and he's trying now to either feed to the far leg to set up a double, or to just push straight through to complete the single, which is now what he's definitely trying to do. Myron blocks with his hands. Great awareness there by keeping his butt off the mat. He knew that if his butt touched the mat, that would be a 1-point takedown. If takedowns initiate inbounds but land out of bounds, it is scored in USA Combat Wrestling. So great work by Myron. This is the takedown that did not score. If you notice here that the motion stopped here due to Michael Kelly hooking the leg and holding his head down to the ground. So it wasn't a continuous motion. It was a great attempt, though. Michael Kelly showing throughout the whole match some great defensive wrestling. And, of course, the signature front headlock that Michael Kelly is known to use effectively. This is the takedown that won the match. Myron shoots in for a single. Kelly turns away, and he continues the motion forward, landing Kelly to his belly. No rhyme intended there, to get the 1-point score. Excellent work and also excellent patience shown by a young Myron Crawford. Only 19 years old, long career ahead of him. Next up, we have the first match from the 90 kilogram division. We have Talon Morris from our dojo in Wisconsin. He is a Sambo, BJJ, and Judo practitioner against Joshua Hightower, a catch wrestler out of Arkansas representing Sarasy Wrestling Club. Again, these guys are the 90 kilogram competitors of the day. We have a few others in their division as well. Hightower early on looking to pummel that right hand for an underhook. Get some control. Goes for a takedown. Oh, and Talon rolls through to go for the leg. Nice isolation of the leg here. Double outside Ashi. Actually, I'm sorry. That looks like a 50-50 position that they're in now. Rolls through with it. He's going to go for a belly down finish. With these wrestling shoes on, these leg locks become extra dangerous. There's so much extra grip and extra control that you're able to get when a guy's wearing shoes like this. Josh Hightower showing some good resiliency here. He's using that right foot to interrupt the control of Talon's right arm. And now Talon has outside Ashi. Hightower might be looking to respond with his own leg lock here. He's got to be careful not to turn this into a knee bar. It looks like he's got his knee bent, and now he's cleared the knee line. So it looks like he is safe for now. Out to the back. He's got one hook in. Might try to take the back to get some scoring, to get some positional points here. Looks like he may be moving to the mount, actually. Nicely done. He throws that foot over the hip, and he's going to get a 1-point score for mount position. Talon looks like he's trying to get into his half guard here. He's got a deep underhook. Oh, and he just lost the position there a little bit, so now he's in bottom full mount. Points were already scored for the mount a moment ago, so in USA Combat Wrestling, you do not get positional points more than once. You can get them once in a match for the back mount and once in a match for the full mount. But you cannot consistently keep stacking up points for landing those positions more than once. Talon now getting into the mount position, and he has scored 1 point now. He's got his 3 seconds of control. Going for pinpoints here. Oh, and Hightower breaks that position. Unfortunately, Talon did not score enough points. He did not hold the pin long enough to get any pinning points. So we are still at a tied score of 1-1. Both these guys starting back in the center here. Talon has an interesting stance that he likes to approach with. He approaches kind of sideways. It makes me think that he may be trying to do a leg scissor takedown. Let's see if he's able to land something like that, because it looks like the way he approaches in the very beginning suggests that he may hop into that kind of takedown. Nice trap of the leg here for Michael Hightower. He sits down to it. It's not going to count as a takedown. Talon responding with a knee bar now. This is trouble for Hightower. Looks like he's turning it into a toe hold now. Hightower's trying to use his right foot to interrupt the motion of the toe hold. Now he is trying to pick the ankle apart to maybe clear his leg to clear that knee line so he's not in such danger. Talon coming up to the top to readjust. Might roll through here for this toe hold. Hightower looks like he's going to stand in base, and that's going to break the submission. And that was a very smart move on his behalf. Talon again approaching with that sideways stance. About halfway, a little over halfway through the match at this point with an even score. See if one of these guys can pick it up here. Talon goes for a fireman carry, and it looks like it's going to be a 1-point takedown. Hightower hit his butt. Hightower's responding with a guillotine choke attempt. Doesn't look like he has the leg control he's going to need to finish this. But nevertheless, he is looking to adjust to get full control of the neck. Now he's starting to make some progress with his right leg around the back, but Talon hops over. Very nice defense by Talon. He's going to give some crossface here to hopefully relieve some of this pressure on that guillotine. Hightower looks like he was going to try to bridge and roll him. Unsuccessfully at this point, unfortunately, for him. Now, looks like he still might be trying to roll Talon over. I think Talon's being conscious of keeping his hips. Oh, see, there it is. Almost tried it again. Good awareness by Talon. Talon may be able to set up a crucifix from here if he can jump and roll with this. Let's see where he goes with it. Talon has the outside arm trapped. He could maybe bring that. Oh, this looks to go for an omoplata, but he doesn't quite. He didn't have the hand in the pocket, so the arm straightened out, and he lost that position. Hightower jumps right onto it now to attack the back. He's sinking in a choke. He's got no hooks in. He's got to be careful that Talon doesn't just buck him forward. Hightower looks like he's trying to. Yeah, he's got one hook in now at this point. He's got a tight squeeze, and that's going to be it. Great win for Hightower. Down on points, was able to dig deep with only about 10 seconds left in the match. Great back and forth between these guys. Let's review some of this action again. This was the opening. Talon looks like he goes for a throw here. Hightower responds with a suplex attempt, so Talon responds again with rolling towards a knee bar. At this point, he's isolating that leg. Hightower holding on tight to his upper body to prevent full extension. He ends up getting rolled over. Talon now looks like he's going to go for a belly down variation of the ankle lock. But Hightower was, I guess, just was able to hang on and keep that angle favorable for him. May just have flexible ankles. That looked like it was not comfortable. Hightower working to control the back. Looked like he was going to try to roll through to get some back control points, but I think Talon's hips hit the ground pretty tightly here, so he wasn't able to get that right hook in. So instead he opts to keep tight control over the shoulder there, and Egg beaters his foot over the top of the hip of Talon, scoring himself the mount points. Talon deep on a leg here, trying to come up with possibly a single or another leg attack entry. Hightower dives for a Kimura attempt here. Talon able to step over, control his own inside thigh. Once he frees his arm and he's not being attacked with a submission anymore, he scores his first point of the match for mount control. Here we see a nice takedown attempt from Hightower. He goes for an outside trip. Tries to sit into it. Talon moves his weight forward, so it's not going to be scored as a takedown. Talon didn't land on his butt or his side, and he uses this opportunity to set up a knee bar attempt, and this was a nice try here by Talon. Hightower using his foot to disrupt the hand positioning and the mechanics of the arms to prevent that from being a bad situation for him. Here you see him trying to drag the ankle out to maybe pick apart the entanglement of the legs. Talon recognizes that, collects the legs a little bit, readjusts his position, and then dives back to the toe hold again. But Hightower seems to have some really good leg defense or some flexible ankles, one of the two. And stands up in base very wisely to break that submission attempt from Talon. And here we see Town. It looked like he was contemplating a crucifix setup, but then he opts to roll for the omoplata. Unfortunately, doesn't have the hand in the pocket, so the arm straightens out, loses that 90-degree angle. Hightower takes advantage of this, jumps right to his back, puts a seatbelt on, looks for that hook, gets the right hook in, and at this point he's pretty deep on the choke. He's squeezing, and that's going to be the finish with only about 8 seconds left to go on the clock. Great match between these guys. That was a lot of great back-and-forth grappling displayed there. And Hightower is going to move forward in the 90-kilogram division. All right, and next up we have our first 100-kilogram matchup of the day. This is between Dave Hart from 719 MMA in Colorado. He's going to be going up against Matt Paul from 10th Planet Chicago. Matt Paul, a veteran of Bellator MMA. He's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu in a high school, and he was a high school wrestler. And Dave Hart, a lifelong wrestler out of a very tough camp in Colorado. And we are underway here. Matt Paul looking to get his underhooks early. Hart looks comfortable to lock in the overhooks. He says that he likes to throw from the overhook, and that's going to be a takedown for Matt Paul. 1-point takedown. Takes the back, and they're getting reset to the center here. Both these guys very strong individuals. Nice attempt for the throw, and that is actually going to be a score for Hart. That's a 2-point takedown. Very nicely done. Again, we're getting reset to the center. Hart up 2-1 right now. Hart has a low center of gravity here. He's using it to his advantage too. He's keeping that head planted in the chest. Heavy pressure forward. Oh, and a nice 4-point takedown by Dave Hart. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. It looks like he's got an arm isolated on the far side too. I'm not sure what Dave's submission skills are like, but let's see if he can isolate that arm and make something happen off of that beautiful 4-point throw. Looks like Paul's recomposing his guard here. He can't use full guard in USA Combat Wrestling, so don't expect to see any of that. Nice sweep here in reversal by Paul. No points for that, of course. Dave Hart up 6-1, making a real statement here in his first match of the day. Continuing to lean that pressure forward, trying to exhaust Matt Paul. Paul looks like he's kind of doing the same thing. He's using his weight heavily on Hart, making him carry him a little bit. Paul goes in to drop levels there. Hart a little quick to step away. Paul's got to be careful because as we saw and as Hart said before the match, is that he enjoys locking those overhooks and using those to set up throws. So while it's typically wise to get the underhooks when you can, you got to be careful when you have a wrestler with the overhooking skills that Dave Hart has. About halfway through the match at this point. Making Hart carry his weight here a little bit, trying to tire him down, leaning into him. Hart still maintaining that low center of gravity, trying to keep his weight leaned forward to keep Paul at bay.
Watch the legs. Watch the legs. He's looking to enter low. Watch the legs. Be smart. He wants to enter in low. Watch it. Come on. Get your breath.
And Paul shoots in. Oh, and a nice score. That's a 4-point takedown straight to the back. So Paul brings it up, only a point away now with about 1 minute and 30 seconds left in the match. Let's see if he can pull ahead or at least get a tie before time runs out. Guys jockeying for control. Again, Matt Paul gets the underhooks. Looks like he bailed on that left underhook intentionally, maybe being a little fearful of that overhead throw that Dave Hart is capable of doing. And Paul shoves him to the ground. He lands on his belly. That's going to be a one-point takedown. Matt Paul just tied up this match. Incredible. This is anybody's match now. We've got about 38 seconds left on the scoreboard. We can expect to see some aggression here. These guys need to go for it at this point. Someone has to score. Even the smallest one-point takedown will do the trick. Dave Hart looking like he is looking for those double overhooks again. Matt Paul being very hesitant to give that left arm up. Controlling, drops levels, shoots in. Can he finish? Yes, that's going to be it. Matt Paul pulls ahead. He's only got about 10 seconds left in the match. Matt Paul may have just made a huge comeback from where he was early on. Let's see if he can maintain this position and ride this out. That is it. Matt Paul with a tremendous comeback. Unbelievable. What a match. Great back and forth action by both these guys. Great tenacity shown by Matt Paul. Let's watch this again. They start out here. Dave Hart comes in aggressively looking for those overhooks. You can tell that's definitely one of his favorite ways to get this to the ground. He sits in. Matt Paul spins him around, gets his one-point takedown. Takes the back. That score may have actually been for a back position. I may be incorrect there. Now Dave Hart spins through on a single arm, brings him over, takes the 2 points because Matt lands on his hips. Here's that big 4-point takedown. This is the takedown of the day so far. Up and over. Beautiful throw there. See that again. Look at this. Boom! Huge takedown by Dave Hart. Immediately after, Matt Paul senses that he's got to step things up, shoots in, drops levels, takes him down. He does it again here at the very end with a tie scoreboard with 10 seconds left in the match. Scores a 2-point takedown, takes the back, and is able to pull off the win. Great match by both of these guys. And Matt Paul is the first winner of the 100 kilogram division. He will move forward, and we are now going to be moving into our big boys, 100 plus kilograms coming up here. Actually, a teammate of Dave Hart in Gabe Buberthy, and David Grayson out of Oklahoma, two-time All-American wrestler, wrestled at Bacone College, black belt in judo also and jiu-jitsu. Buberthy, a lifelong wrestler, also out of 719 MMA in Colorado. And he says that he is a well-rounded grappler. He says he can do it all. He competes at the national and the world level. So let's see what these guys have for us today. So far, just some pummeling. Good double collar tie here for Buberthy. Maybe hard to tell on your screens at home, but these are some very big guys. I really hope they don't come charging at me right here. I don't know if my announcing table would be able to withstand the weight of these two guys. Referee Vlad Kulikov going to bring him back to the center. Looks like he may be giving them a verbal warning about non-combativity. These guys looking to pummel and get good position, but they're going to have to follow up with an attempt, or if something is attempted on them, they're going to have to follow back with a counter. Otherwise, they can get both cautioned for non-combativity. Sometimes with these big guys, the action is a little slower paced, but when takedowns happen, they happen hard. So let's see what happens here.
pace, Gabe. Push the pace.
At this point, both wrestlers are getting a caution. This is going to be for non-combativity. The officials are going to want to make sure that guys are always looking to set something up or at least respond with a counterattack attempt. Any breaking of clinches without a follow-up is going to get you a caution. And any position that you get to that you don't use active forward progression will also get you a caution, among other things.
You got a minute and a half. Minute and a half. Push it. Push it, play. Minute and a half. Circle, circle. Circle. Go, baby. You know what you're doing.
Reset to the center here. A little short on time. We got about less than a minute left in the match now. Someone's going to have to step it up and do something here in order to move forward. Currently, we have no score and we are tied on cautions. So if nothing happens here, we'll go into a sudden death overtime round of 3 minutes. And it looks like Grayson just got a second caution, which is also going to give Buberthy a point. And that's probably going to be for breaking the clinch without attempting a follow-up, which is classified as non-combativity. Buberthy looking to redirect his momentum there. Doesn't follow up with it. Grayson in for a single leg attempt and a nice sprawl by Buberthy. Buberthy takes the back here. He has to get 2 hooks in with a seatbelt control in order to score for position. But I don't think at this point it's going to be very necessary. We are very, very short on time. He may just ride this one out. Let's see. And that's time. Buberthy's going to move ahead for a 1-point score due to a caution by David Grayson, getting a second caution. And Gabe Buberthy is going to move forward into the 100-plus kilogram division. All right, and we are ready to kick off our second 90-kilogram match of the day. This is between Trent Williamson and Nico Koliastasis. Trent Williamson out of Hollis Park Jiu-Jitsu in Illinois, second-degree black belt. Nico Koliastasis, a 2-time USA Combat Wrestling Team USA member, our 2016 and 2017 team. He is also the lead wrestling and MMA coach at Championship MMA in Fort Smith, Arkansas. And here we go. We are underway. Go judging his distance here. Williamson keeping his stance low, preventing, trying not to make an easy shot for Nico to come in on. Nico keeping his hands to the inside the best he can. Drags him down. Okay, that's not going to be a takedown, but okay, well, either way, we're going to get set back to the middle. Nico dragging Williamson to the ground again. It's not going to count as a takedown. And that is also not going to be a takedown, but it does come to the ground, and Nico's a very dangerous submission fighter. So Williamson's going to have to be on his P's and Q's here. But Nico looks like he is going to take advantage of this to get some pinpoints here if he can just flatten Williamson out. And here he goes. We've got the pinpoints counting. If he can hold him here for a full 30 seconds, he will get a 4-point score. Williamson fighting hard to prevent that. Got to keep turning, trying to recompose his guard. Again, he can't recompose the full guard in USA Combat Wrestling, but he can get to half or an open guard variation. Nico's still maintaining the pin position here. He's getting pretty close to getting that full 30-second pin for a 4-point score, and there it is. Koliostasis moves up 4 points. Now looks like he's going to go out to a scarf hold. Looks like he might be isolating that arm to get a submission here. He might be using a key lock with the leg. Looks like he does have that leg trapped, and there it is. And way to stack up some pin points there before going for the submission attempt. You never know how the submission's going to go. Whether or not the guy is able to escape can be a problem. Great win by Nico Koliostasis. He moves forward in the 90-kilogram division. All right, our next matchup is the second 100-plus kilogram match of the day. We got Eric Hubner out of Illinois from Head Nod HQ. He is a BJJ purple belt and a wrestler. Artie Gruba from SBG Illinois. He was also a high school and college wrestler at Calumet College. He's also a jiu-jitsu purple belt and also a brown belt in judo. So great background by both these guys. Let's see how this goes. Right now we've got Gruba tied up on a Russian tie. He flips over to a underhook instead. And Hubner breaks this distance. Nice shot in by Hubner, and that's going to be a 1-point score. Gruba responding with a guillotine attempt here. Front choke, it looks like. Let's see if he can make this happen. Doesn't quite look like he has the angle he needs. Hubner cuts the angle, passes the guard. See if he can get some hooks in and get some positioning points here. Using a half Nelson there to cut the angle around to the side. A nice sit out by Gruba. Very well done. Now Gruba's on the back. Let's see if he can put some hooks in. He's trying to put in the first. Hubner looks like he's closing that space. Throws him forward. Nicely done by Hubner. And now he takes the top position with a chin strap here. And he may be looking to score some pinpoints. Let's see if he can maintain this position. Looks like he's opting to go for the arm. He's got a Kimura locked in. Let's see what he can do with this. Already straightening out the arm, and that's a straight arm lock. Well done. Great pressure and great use of that chin strap to keep Gruba in place. Let's take a look at that again. Hubner times that takedown perfectly, goes straight to the ankle, pulls Hubner's butt Gruba's butt to the ground, and begins passing the guard. Defends that front choke very well. And makes his way around the guard to get to the side position. Takes the back because Gruba bellies out. No hooks in here, so that's not going to be a positional score. Great sit out by Gruba. Very nice response to that. Unfortunately, wasn't able to put hooks in and got thrown forward. Hubner controls with the chin strap there, sees that an arm is isolated, goes for it, abandoning the pinning points. Gruba realizes what's happening, straightens out his arm, and Hubner makes the adjustment for the straight arm lock, which sunk in very fast. Great match by both guys. Excellent control there at the end by Hubner, and Hubner is going to move forward in the 100-plus kilogram division. All right, our next matchup is another 100-plus kilogram match. We've got Dylan Manus and Alex Jackson. Dylan Manus representing TK Martial Arts in Arkansas. He is a BJJ blue belt. Alex Jackson out of New York Combat Sambo in New York City, also a BJJ blue belt, who is a former high school wrestler. Alex says that he likes double overhooks of the arms for his throws. Manus says he likes to get to side control and apply heavy pressure. Attempt on a takedown there, but no score was landed because Alex landed on his knees and hands and knees. Alex going to sit back to a Kimura attempt here. See what he can do with this. Trying to create some space. Might be looking for a leg entry here. See what he can do with it. Oh, and they are out of bounds. They're going to get reset to the center. Manus said that he likes to use wheel throws, so we'll be on the lookout for that.
Thank you.
Great to meet you.
I'll be back around for the master's work. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll be here. Thank you, sir. See Alex trying to pummel in a way that he wants those overhooks. He's getting to the underhooks, and then he's trying to swim back around to get over the top, which is interesting. He's got what he wants on the right side here. Let's see if he can set it up on the left. And now he does. All right, he's got the double overhooks. Let's see what he can do with it. This is the preferred position for his throws. He attempts to bring the weight back, but doesn't quite get the momentum he needed. Now he looks like he's opting to go in for a leg entry here. Little crossface used by Manus to stop that. Now he's out to a toe hold. This could be a problem. Let's see what Alex can do with this. Manus, because there's no control on the right leg, he does a back step to get it out of the way. His knee is on the ground. It looks like he's probably going to be safe here, especially if he can get a crossface, which looks like what he's going for. Now he's just sort of pressing Alex to the floor, keeping a nice frame with the forearm to prevent Alex from moving around too much and readjusting that angle. Flexible knee for a big guy on Manus. Looks like Vakulikov is going to bring these guys back to the center. Still no score on the board yet. We're just about halfway through this match here, so these guys are going to have to step this up and start scoring a takedown or positional points to get on the scoreboard. Alex again looking for that overhook. Manus looking for a snap down, and he shoots in, and that's going to be a score. That is a 1-point takedown for Manus. Alex hit his butt first and then laid to his back. The takedown was not directly to his side. So that is a 1-point takedown. Alex again looking like he's trying to get a little distance here to maybe get Manus's weight off center to maybe enter for a leg. Also looking maybe for a Kimura. Both these guys starting back to the middle again.
Dylan, you're only up by 1.
We're getting pretty short on time, so Jackson's in a bit of a desperate situation here. He's going to have to step this up and start looking for a takedown.
Watch that weight.
He's got the overhook again. Manus threatening with a sweep with the foot. That's pummeling for position. Alex might be looking for a throw here. Oh, and Manus uses that opportunity to sit back for a takedown. That's going to be a 2-point score.
Pin.
And now he may be looking for pinpoints. He may stay in this position to ride this thing out with an extra 4 points, which would put him at a 7-0 lead at the end of the match. We're very short on time. If a pin is happening before time expires, the pin will go through the time limit. So the wrestler on top will get the opportunity to maintain that 30-second 4-point score even if time runs out in the middle of his attempt. So that's important to remember.
Nice. Good. Keep going.
And that's going to be a 4-point score for Manus. So he is now 7-zip. Taking the back, maybe threatening a choke here. Real short on time. Let's see what he can do with this. And Manus now scores again for the mount position, 8-0.
Almost done. Get your top mount point.
Manus in no rush at this point. He knows that he's way ahead on points, and that's going to be the end of the match. Manus, great control showed, great emphasis on the takedowns and the pinpoint controls. And he moves on. Let's take a look at some of that action again. Here we see the snap down from Manus and a shot that came in. This was the first score of the match. Straight to the butt, which is going to be a 1-point takedown. He then starts passing guard here. Here we see Alex attempting a throw, and Manus, 1 step ahead of him, sits down with that for a 2-point takedown, putting the score up to 3-0 at this point, where he then applies the pinpoints. All right, and we are ready for another 68-kilogram matchup. This is between Michael Caldwell, local boy from St. Louis, representing Gracie Humaita. He's a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. He was a high school wrestler, and he also wrestled in college for Lindenwood College. And returning to the mat for the second time is Devin Whitehead from Piazza Martial Arts in Illinois. These guys looking to get the grips they want. Caldwell doing a nice control of the wrist there. And a nice shot by Caldwell. Very nicely done. Devin Whitehead goes to his belly, so that's going to be a 1-point takedown. Let's see if you can follow up with some position points for taking the back. Actually, they are out of bounds, so it looks like they're getting reset to the center. Great takedown. Good timing there by Michael Caldwell. See if we can keep up this pace. Nice snap down there. He wasn't quite able to follow up with a shot because of Whitehead's tie on the head there. Whitehead goes for a front choke. Caldwell shucks him to the side, takes the back, beautifully done, sinks in tight on a choke. Doesn't look like there's going to be a score for takedowns, but he is in tight on a submission. He's got both hooks in, so he scores to the back. He's now up 2-0. The choke sinks in tight now. He's going for a palm-to-palm finish. Looked like he was thinking about a traditional rear naked choke setup in the beginning, but now he is opting to go palm-to-palm. Hard to tell from my angle here if he is feeding through to the bicep or not for the traditional finish. Yes, he is. He's fed that hand through now, and that is a finish. Very nicely done by Michael Caldwell. Aggressive approach. Let's take a look at that work again. Here you see he shoots in for a single, feeds out to the double, and goes belly down. Devin Whitehead goes belly down, so that's going to be a 1-point takedown. Michael Caldwell with a nice shuck to the side there, taking the back, locking in that choke right away. Great awareness. Spins through to stay on the back, chasing the hips, making sure that Devin Whitehead can't put his back to the ground. Sinks in that second hook, gets his positional score. Goes for the traditional setup at first, but opts for the gable grip, for the palm-to-palm grip there. And looks like from here it was all downhill for Devin Whitehead. Devin Whitehead having a hard time turning those shoulders out to the mat, trying as he might, but unable to get the angle. Caldwell now feeding through to the traditional grip to get that finish. Great jiu-jitsu there. And Michael Caldwell moves forward in the 68-kilogram division. Great performance. All right, and back to the 74-kilogram division. We've got Hector Santana out of New York City representing New York Combat Sambo Club. And returning to the mat for the second time is Travis Kirby out of Oklahoma. Santana, no stranger to leg locks. He's also a jiu-jitsu practitioner, no-gi. Wrestled in high school. Enjoys high crotch takedowns and guillotine chokes when he's grappling. He's also an avid striker, but there is no striking allowed today. Shooting in on a single leg. Hard sprawl by Kirby. Great defensive wrestling by Kirby there. Great balance, great timing on the sprawl. Kirby, a lifelong wrestler out of Oklahoma. Great double leg takedown. And that is going to be a 2-point takedown, I believe. 1-point takedown. Looks like he hit his butt first. It was hard to tell from my vantage point here. Guys tie back up. Kirby up on the scoreboard by 1 point. Santana in for a shot. Kirby times the sprawl well. Using this position now to possibly take the back or to turn him for other positional points. Kirby, in order to get back mount points, he's going to have to get 2 hooks in. Santana back in front of him again. Kirby using a front choke here. Let's see what he can do with this. Santana again trying to drop levels. Kirby a little too quick for him. It's very difficult to set up those one-take shots on lifelong wrestlers. It's very, very difficult. You have to use a lot of different kinds of setups to keep them guessing in order to get that good penetration. Santana looked like he was maybe going for a fireman carry there, but he was shooting from a little too far back. Kirby again hits the brakes on him, stops him in his tracks, and now he is moving around towards the back, possibly looking to maybe flip him over to get some pinpoints. Kirby relying very much on his defensive wrestling here. Santana's going to have to get creative to set up some opportunities for a takedown. That's going to be another takedown. That's a 2-point takedown for Kirby. Let's see what he can put together here. Feeding back towards the leg. Let's see if he can do anything with this. Looks like he's trying to triangle the upper body of Kirby here. Referee Vlad Kulikov is signaling that he is going for a submission. Looks like he's feeding out to the leg here. Let's see what he can do with this. Kirby keeping that driving pressure forward, keeping him folded up. And that looks like that may have stifled the submission attempt for Santana. Over the half-point way of the match at this point. Kirby up 3-0. Santana's going to have to go hard here or look for a quick submission. Kirby attempting to sit out here, or Santana, I'm sorry, attempting to sit out here. Kirby keeping his hips back, keeping nice tight control with that gable grip around the lower midsection. Looks like they are going to get stood up. We are very short on time here, so Santana's got to work hard. Kirby's just got to keep doing what he's doing, and he'll win this match. Santana coming in hot now. Drops levels, goes for the double leg. Kirby sprawls. Prevents him from getting that takedown score. Only a few seconds left of the match here. Santana behind on points. If Kirby can just keep his defensive wrestling up, he's got about 5 seconds to get through here. And this looks like this match is going to come to an end about right here. And that's time. Great performance by both guys. Let's take a look at some of this action again. Here we see the first score of the match. This was a great 1-point takedown for Kirby. Beautiful blast double leg. Then he follows up with another great 2-point takedown to score a total of 3. And Kirby picks up the win here. All right, and this is match number 2 between Myron Crawford and Michael Kelly from the 82-kilogram division. So far, Crawford up 1-0. This will be a best-of-3 matchup between these two because they are the only two in the 82-kilogram division today. Michael Kelly, a seasoned veteran, lifelong wrestler, multiple-time national and regional champion. Myron Crawford, only 19 years old, formerly wrestled at Parkway Central High School where we're holding today's event. Now he wrestles in college. We saw earlier in their first match earlier today, Michael Kelly uses very good front headlock control to stifle a lot of shots. Times his sprawls very well. Myron Crawford was able to figure out a way to score a point, and it was one takedown that decided the first match. Looks like Michael Kelly is going to pick up a caution for non-combativity. I'm going to assume that's for breaking the clinch without using a follow-up attack in response. Crawford in on an ankle, feeds up to the single leg. What can he do with this? Oh, and a 4-point takedown. Very nicely done by Crawford. Crawford pulls ahead by 4. That's huge this early on. Let's see if he can keep this momentum going. This is Crawford's first time participating in USA Combat Wrestling. He again, admittedly, does not know any submissions at this point in his career. The submission game is new to him. Michael Kelly, very comfortable with submissions. He has several submission wins regionally and nationally. Using that front headlock again very well. Goes for an outside trip. Crawford keeps his base. And Crawford doing a good job circling away from a potential choke there. We are about halfway through the match here at this point. Crawford ahead by 4. Michael Kelly's going to have to figure out a way to get the young buck to the ground to start catching up on points here. He's behind 1 caution plus behind 4 points. He's going to have to get to work here to make something happen. And it looks like, again, Michael Kelly picking up a second caution, which is going to lead to an extra point for Crawford. Once you pick up more than 1 caution, your opponent gets awarded a point in exchange. So we have Crawford up 5-0 now. Looks like he may be on his way to closing this out. As again, this is a best of 3 between these two because they are the only 2 competitors at 82 kilograms. So one of these guys will represent the 82 kilogram spot on Team USA at the Worlds in October. They'll be competing against Team Mexico, Team Bulgaria, Team Hungary, Team Japan. It's going to be a really, really exciting event. It'll be a great addition to either of their careers. Kelly already has a long list of accolades. Myron Crawford, just fresh into college and new to the submission grappling game. This would be a great thing to have on his resume at such an early point in his career. Kelly drops in. Myron, nicely done. Nice reversal. Kelly has a Kimura set in here. Myron has to be careful. Myron does not have any training in submissions at this point in his career. Oh, and that shoulder's really getting turned. Oh, Myron Crawford's in a lot of trouble here. Kelly scissoring the legs to make sure that he holds them in place. That's not a head scissor, which would be illegal. He's underneath the armpit just to control. And referee Vlad Kulikov right on top of the action here. Crawford is in all kinds of trouble. You can tell by his movement he doesn't know how to quite unravel this. This could be extremely dangerous. He's reaching past that 90-degree angle, and referee Vlad Kulikov looks like he just stopped the action to protect Myron Crawford. Great comeback there by Michael Kelly. That may have counted as a verbal tap. Myron was grunting pretty loudly, and as per the rules, if you make any audibles while in trouble, in a bad position, that will count as a verbal tap. Let's go back and look at some of this again. Myron Crawford was winning on points. He was performing very well up until he got caught in that submission. It looks like he drops levels here. He picks this ankle beautifully, feeds up to the leg, goes for the single leg, decides to flip him up. A beautiful 4-point score for Myron. And this is where, unfortunately, after a hard-fought battle, it went downhill for Myron. He turns, he leaves an arm hanging precariously behind Kelly's back. Kelly recognizes the Kimura opportunity, jumps in on it, and begins torquing Myron's shoulder, holding that 90-degree angle very nicely. Now he locks up a triangle position with his legs to secure Myron from being able to turn out. And Myron, that was a very good call by referee Vlad Kulikov. Vlad Kulikov, a highly decorated grappling competitor and instructor, definitely was able to recognize that this was going nowhere good fast. Myron may have made an audible in his attempt to escape, which does count as a verbal submission, but either way, I think Vlad did a very good job stopping that, because that was not going to end up good. So at this point, we have Michael Kelly as our winner via submission, which puts these guys 1-1 in a best-of-3. So whoever wins their third match is going to represent Team USA in October at the Worlds in the 82 kilogram spot. Next up, we got Talon Morris and Trent Williamson. This is for third place in the 90 kilogram division. Talon Morris out of Wisconsin, Trent Williamson out of Illinois. And we are underway for third place here. Williamson, wasting no time, snatches up that single. Beautiful 4-point takedown to kick things off almost immediately. Trent with a Russian tie here, dragging out to the back. Very nicely done. He's got a crucifix position set up here. Let's see what he does with this. Looks like he's opting to maybe try to get to the mount or take the back. Yes, he's opting towards the back. Looks like he's sinking in a rear naked choke as well. He's got his left hook in, and now he's turning over. He's going to try to put his right hook in. Now he's got both hooks. He's going to score for the position, but it's not necessary. He finishes with this submission. Beautiful choke by Trent Williamson. Let's take a look at some of this again. Williamson, right from the jump, snatches up the single leg, sweeps the other leg, big 4-point throw above the hip line to kick things off. Here we see him utilizing a Russian tie, drags him over, gets the back position, sits back into a crucifix. Starts inching his way forward. It looked like he was thinking of maybe taking the mount first. Talon starts turning in, so Williamson decides just to take the back and starts sinking in a rear naked choke. Talon rolls a bit. He's got that left arm trapped, so it's in a very precarious position for Talon, and he's not able to defend for much longer there. Very nicely done by Trent Williamson. And Trent Williamson is your third place winner in the 90 kilogram division. Great performance. Next up, we return to our 100 kilogram division. We've got David Hart returning to the mat. Stepping out to the mat for the first time today, Stephen Yoke out of Maryland. Fights out of Sport Judo Academy. Brown belt in judo, purple belt in jiu-jitsu, high school wrestler. In nice on a single, and he completes it. That's a 1-point score for Yoke. Stephen Yoke now taking the back as well, and he's going to get position points for that as well. He's up 2-0. Great start so far. Stephen Yoke wrestled in high school last year. He took second in the Masters Worlds in the open weight division. Dave Hart trying to threaten the leg here a little bit. Looks like they are going out of bounds, so referee Vlad Kulikov is going to reset them to the center. Dave Hart out of 719 MMA in Colorado. Lifelong wrestler. Sprawls, moves to the back here. Let's see if he can score some positional points himself to start catching up on the boards. He'll need to insert 2 hooks to get back control and get points for it. Looks like he may be opting to control the far leg to try to flip his opponent over, get some topside control. Said that he prefers side mount and pressure from side mount when he's attacking for submissions. Dave Yoke again on a single leg, very nicely done. He's going to get another 1-point score. He's up 3-0 now. Dave Yoke intelligently going for just the simple takedowns. Nothing too fancy, nothing too crazy. Dave Hart threatening a Kimura here. Yoke clears his elbow, flattens his opponent back out, looking for a bit of a crossface here.
There you go. Hold that hand.
Dave Yoke at this point has already scored points for the back control position, so he won't be able to get points for it again, at least not in this match.
Okay, you gotta move. Circle. Get on it. Get on it. You got plenty.
Another simple single leg attempt there. David Hart a little too fast for him. He sprawls. Using a front headlock here to control the situation. Dave Yoke keeping firm grip with a 2-on-1 control on Dave Hart's left arm.
Watch your legs. Watch your legs.
It's going to certainly make utilizing a choke a little more difficult.
Pressure.
Uses that to stand, and he's back front and center.
Hook him up, push. Let's go, pressure.
Don't lean on him.
Hook him up, hook him up.
Stay low. Hold his ties.
Get your breath going, let's go.
There you go. Find you one. You got inside, find you one.
Steve Yoke again shooting in. Dave Hart again sprawling.
You gotta turn him over.
He's trying to pull his head. He's got to be careful of the eyes there. That's going to be a caution. That's going to be a caution for fingers in the eyes. Doesn't look like he was attempting to actually dig into Yoke's eyes. I think he was just trying to pull his head up to maybe expose the neck for a choke. But regardless, you have to be very careful where you put your hands anywhere close to the orbital areas of your opponent. So Dave Hart picks up a caution for that infraction. Steve Yoke going to take his time to recover here. The pressure is now on for David Hart. He's down 3 points and he has a caution against him. He's going to need to get a 4-point score to pull ahead, or he's going to have to start consistently stacking up some 1 or 2 point takedowns. And of course, a submission will end the entire match.
That's it, stand him back up, stand him back up. Stand him back up, come on. Stand up.
Pretty far past the halfway point of the match now. These guys are looking at about a minute and 30 seconds or so on the clock. Yoke seems pretty comfortable and confident. He knows he's up on points, and he knows that there's a caution against his opponent. Hart's going to have to really work now.
Choke him. Choke him.
There you go. Keep the wrist hand up.
Set him up. Set him up.
Clear the tie. Clear the tie. Circle.
Edging a little close towards the out-of-bounds line there. Yoke shoots in on a single again. Good attempt, but Dave Hart sprawls him down. Keeps the pressure. Again, Hart's going to have to really step it up here to either look for a submission or allow his opponent to come back up so he can try to get some takedowns if submissions aren't his thing. And it looks like they're getting set back to the center here. And that is time. Steve Yoke pulls off the win, 3-0. He's going to move forward in the 100-kilogram division. Let's take a look at some of this action. Yoke shoots in for a single early on. He's able to continue to cut the angle and close that takedown out with a 1-point score. He then sinks in his hooks intelligently there to get the positional score, making that a 3-point score early on. Here's some more work. He gets in on a single, steps up to it, drives forward, and right to the butt. So that's going to be another 1-point score, bringing him 4-0. Here we see where Dave Hart picked up an infraction. It's right here. He looks like he's trying to pry the head up to maybe sink in a choke. Unfortunately, the fingers all over the orbital area of Stephen Yoke. And that picks him up an infraction. Steve Yoke, out of sport judo in Maryland, is going to move forward here in our 100-kilogram division. And now we're back to the really big guys, the 100-plus kilogram division here. We've got Eric Hubner out of Illinois against Gabe Buberthy from Colorado. Eric Hubner so far on a great run today. And that won't count as a takedown. It was a nice attempt. If he can sink in his hooks, though, and get some back control here, he will pick up some positional points. Let's see if Hubner opts to do that. Looks like they are getting set back to the center now. Eric Hubner, a BJJ purple belt, on top of being a lifelong wrestler. So you can look to see some submission attempts from the ground. Gabe Huberthy considers himself a full-rounded grappler, competes at a national and world level. Very tough camp out in Colorado at 719 MMA. Eric Hubner representing Head Nod HQ in Illinois. And both these guys are going to pick up a caution. It's like a non-combativity call. So we are even on the scoreboards and even with a caution each. Hubner shoots in nicely with a takedown. Beautifully done. That's going to be a 1-point score on the board. And Hubner has now pulled ahead here. Let's see if he goes for some pinpoints. If he can get his right arm free and get some head control looks. Yes, here we go. He's got the pinpoints and counting. Gabe Huberthy is going to have to get moving because if he allows himself to be stuck there for 30 seconds, that's going to be a 4-point pin score for Eric Hubner, which will put him ahead 5-0, which is a significant distance ahead this early on. Huberthy looking like he's not making a ton of effort to get out of this, and Eric just scored his 4 points for pin. Now that's the only time during the match that Eric's going to be able to do that. You can only score up to 4 points of pinning time total per match per wrestler. So now he has 5 points ahead, which is a significant lead. Huberthy is going to have to work hard here to start catching up. Eric again for a quick takedown. Huberthy sprawls nicely, uses the front headlock here to control things. Huberthy at this point is going to need a lot more than just defense. He's going to have to start putting something together here to get on the scoreboard. Eric Hubner, lifelong wrestler, family man. Says he enjoys spending time with his kids more than anything in the world. Guys stalled out a little bit here in a clinch. Moving closely to the out of bounds range. Looks like they're going to come back to the center. Short on time in this match here. We've only got about a minute left. Gabe Huberthy again is going to have to really start working here.
That's it. You got 20 seconds.
We are about 30 seconds left in this match. Hubner looks like he is probably going to be able to coast through unless something crazy happens in the final seconds here. Hubner looks like he has this one in the books.
9 seconds.
Inching himself that much closer to taking gold today and being the 100+ kilogram representative of Team USA, and that is time. First one comes in quick, boom, to the far leg, gets the single, carries through, cuts the angle, drives Huberthy to his butt, getting the 1-point score. He then follows that up by securing a pinning position, putting himself 5 points ahead of Huberthy, and he moves forward in our 100+ kilogram division. All right, next up in the 100-plus kilogram division, returning to the mat is Dylan Manus. His opponent is Keith Steinacker, stepping out onto the mat for the first time today. Steinacker out of Illinois, Watson Martial Arts. He's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, high school wrestler, has a diverse set of takedowns, and is very submission-friendly on the ground. Dylan Manus out of Arkansas, representing TK Martial Arts, jiu-jitsu blue belt, also comfortable with submissions as well. Manus with a front sprawl here. See where he tries to go with this. Manus says he likes to use side control, and specifically he likes to set up Americanas from side control. Steinacker, a fan of the half guard. While standing, he likes to use Russian ties to set up his takedowns. And he also has a high percentage win rate with north-south chokes. So we can look to see a possible submission win in this match here. Both these guys very comfortable on the ground with submissions. Steinacker attempting an arm drag, Manus stepping away. Little head-to-head contact there. Steinacker looked like he was trying to lean his weight forward, and Manus unfortunately ran into it a little bit. Vlad giving a verbal warning to watch where the head placement goes to avoid headbutts. Last thing we need is someone getting cut open. We don't want to have to stop a match or have someone be out due to injury. Speaking of injury, it looks like it's been reported that David Grayson is now out altogether today. We hope that he is not injured too badly and that he recovers quickly. He was part of the first match earlier today for the 100-plus kilogram division against Gabe Buberthy. Wish him a speedy recovery. That's going to be a caution for Manus. Looks like Manus was either not making forward progression with his sprawls, which falls under the category of non-combativity. Getting a nice sprawl. He's going to need to move and show active intent on progressing forward, which he is now doing. Steinacker controlling that wrist to prevent him from taking the back as easily. We are 0-0 on the scoreboard. Manus with a caution. Should the time limit expire with no score, Steinacker would take it in this situation because of the caution that Manus is carrying. Manus relentlessly attacking the back here. Nice reversal by Steinacker. Let's see what he can do with this. He may use this to tally up some pin points. Yes, he is. He's going to go for the pin here. If he holds this for 30 seconds, he will get a 4-point score. He can only do it once per match. Manus recognizes what's going on, is attempting to pummel his hands underneath to get a far underhook. Steinacker now abandoning the pin points. He's looking to go for the Americana, which is one of Manus' favorite moves. See if he can use one of his preferred moves against him. Steinacker choking up that near side arm to prevent any kind of framing. Trying to crawl for the mount. Manus keeps it knee high. Steinacker back on that arm again. From this vantage point, it's kind of hard to tell how the angle on the arm is. Looks like he switched to a Kimura at this point. It's not an Americana here. He's got a Kimura position, and that's it. A submission for Keith Steinacker. Let's take a look at some of this again. Go right to the finish here. Manus left his arm looped around the back of around the side of the waist of Steinacker. Steinacker recognizes it, steamrolls him over. Beautiful reversal. Starts going right away for some pinpoints here. While defending the pinpoints and attempting to get out, Steinacker threatens with the Americana. Manus trying his best to turn away to prevent that. Steinacker cinching up the position here a little bit on the near side arm. You can see now that Manus' wrist is down towards his hips. That may have been a response to trying to turn away from the Americana, but he walks right into a double wrist lock, aka a Kimura. And Steinacher now stepping over the head, or at least trying to get over the head, putting a lot of pressure backwards, really pushing that shoulder past its stretching point, and he gets the submission win. Beautiful work there by Steinacher. Great patience shown in dealing with the sprawls, the effective sprawls of Manus. Great reversal, great pressure from the top, and excellent progression towards that final submission. Keith Steinacher moves forward in the 100-plus kilogram division. And next up, we have our first finals match of the day. This is for the 68 kilogram division. We have Mike Caldwell out of Gracie Humaita, St. Louis. Daniel Rodriguez out of Damian Maya, Chicago. Rodriguez in hard on a single. Caldwell scrambling well to prevent the points. Nicely done. I don't think that's not going to count as a takedown. However, Rodriguez has a dangerous guillotine, as we saw early in his first match. He won his first match only in a matter of seconds. Let's see if he can make a repeat. Caldwell keeping himself tight from the bottom position. Rodriguez feeding through to a possible Darce choke here. Looking for maybe a Bravo. Switches back to the guillotine. And that is going to be another quick guillotine win for Daniel Rodriguez, who has just taken first place in the 68 kilogram division. He will represent Team USA for his weight class at the Worlds in October. Let's see some of this again. He sprawls out. He threatens a Bravo choke, sinks the arm back down, goes in for the guillotine, locks in very tight, quick submission. Second time he's done that in this event today. And he is now our first place winner of the 68 kilogram division. He will represent Team USA in October at the Worlds right here in St. Louis. All right, and we are ready for our second finals match of the day. This is for the 74 kilogram division between Brett Milano and Hector Santana. Santana coming in hard with a single leg attempt. Milano sprawls well, but Santana cutting out to the back, not quite getting there, goes for the single leg. Milano rolls through to a crucifix. Now he's taking the back, attacking a Kimura grip from back control. Let's see if he can either turn this into an armbar or finish the Kimura. And that looks like a Kimura submission. Very nicely done by Milano. Looks like a possible injury for Santana. Hopefully he's okay here. May have a medic having to come out to this. What a quick exchange there. Great scramble. Quick win for Brett Milano. Hate to see an injury happen here. Let's get I think we have a medic coming over to check on him. But it looks like Brett Milano from Des Moines Judo will be moving forward. He will be our first place winner, representing Team USA in October for the 74 kilogram division. Great sprawl. Hector Santana cuts out to the side, goes in on the single. Milano recognizes this, rolls through with the Kimura grip, throws him over, rolls to the top, gets to the back, continues the application of the Kimura finish. Able to break that grip, the palm-to-palm grip that Santana was trying to use to save his shoulder. And he gets him past the point of no return here. And that's a win for Brett Milano. Great awareness, great reactions within the scramble, and way to stick with the submission there. Looks like Hector Santana is okay. Your winner, Brett Milano, at the 74 kilogram division. He will represent Team USA for his weight class in October, right here in St. Louis. And this is the final match between Michael Kelly and Myron Crawford. These guys are 1-1 so far, the only two wrestlers representing in the 82 kilogram division. So whoever wins this match moves forward and secures their spot on Team USA. Match one was won by points by Crawford. The second match, Crawford was ahead 5 points to 0, and Kelly closed it out with a Kimura win. Myron Crawford not versed in submissions yet. It's something he's brand new to. So we expect by the time we see him, that when we see him again, he will have some submission experience under his sleeve. Michael Kelly, a seasoned veteran, several national and world titles. He's a 10-time Team USA grappling team member. Myron Crawford wrestled right here at Parkview High School, now wrestles in college. First time for Myron Crawford participating in a USA Combat Wrestling event. He's only 19 years old. Long career ahead of him. Making it on Team USA would be a great start to an early career. Referee Vlad Kulikov issuing a caution to both wrestlers for non-combativity. About 2 minutes into the match here. Michael Kelly so far today has displayed some very competent defensive wrestling. He's had to make Myron really work for every takedown he's scored. Uses the front headlock very well after a good sprawl to stop the younger athlete from moving forward.
3 minutes remaining, no score.
Michael Kelly looking like he has a little more pep in his step in this match. Obviously, the stakes are significantly higher than the first two matches. This is for the spot on Team USA. Myron sits in for the ankle, picks it up. Let's see if he can do the same takedown he did before, and he does. That's the same exact setup that Myron used to score a 4-point score in the second match before getting stuck in a Kimura. And Crawford pulls ahead 4-0. We are past the halfway point of the match. Crawford is in a good place right now. If he can defend and be smart with his movements, he will secure his spot on Team USA. Michael Kelly, a longtime wrestler, veteran of the sport. Surely he has been in a situation like this many times before. He understands that he's going to have to step up here and get aggressive, which he's looking to do now. He gets on the single. Can he finish this? Myron posting his hand to the ground, keeping on his knees, keeping his hip off the ground as well. I don't think his butt touched, and that's not going to be a score. He stops the forward progression. So at this point, no matter where he lands, that's not going to be a score. Now, unfortunately, at the end there, he scrambled out of bounds. So he just gave Kelly a point and picked himself up a caution for fleeing the combat area. Great defense to avoid the takedown. He's still ahead by 3 points. He's got to be careful here, though.
Work, Myron.
If Kelly's able to get some takedowns here, he is the one with the higher. Crawford is the one with the higher amount of cautions. So this could be a problem if Kelly starts putting together some points here. Getting pretty short on time. Kelly's going to have to really start using some setups and get aggressive here. Myron timing the sprawl on the takedown.
30 seconds.
Takedown attempt.
30 seconds, Myron. Smart.
Myron moving very confidently. You can tell that he knows that he is in a good place. Myron picks the ankle, shoves him out of the way, and time expires. Myron Crawford just became part of Team USA to represent the United States in the USA Combat Wrestling Worlds in October. Great performance. Let's look at some of this again. He catches that ankle, picks him up. It's the exact same takedown setup he used in their second match. Lifts him up above the hip line, sweeps the leg, drops him down to his belly for a 4-point score. Michael Kelly, this was a great defensive work by Myron here. Michael Kelly deep in on a single. Myron not giving an inch, posts that hand, keeps his hips keeps his butt off the ground. Looks like he lightly touched there, but at that point, I think he stopped the forward momentum. And so that did not score as a takedown. Here we see Myron, unfortunately, picking up a caution on the way out, scrambling away from the combat area. But great work to avoid getting scored on there with that takedown. And the young Myron Crawford, only 19 years old, his first time ever competing in USA Combat Wrestling, with no knowledge of submission moves at this point, lands his spot on Team USA. We now move forward to the final match for the 90-kilogram division. We have Joshua Hightower against Nico Koliastasis. Both these guys out of Arkansas. Hightower representing Catch Wrestling. Nico Koliastasis, two-time Team USA Combat Wrestling member. Scores a nice one-point takedown here. Koliastasis going to hold the position to get his pin points. Nice control of the hips there to prevent any escape. Collecting the legs, cinching up his right leg, toes dug in deep to the mat to avoid any kind of shrimping or turning. Looks like he is definitely going to score his 4-point pin points for the match. Hightower trying to frame, looking for maybe a bridge. We saw Hightower trying to use that same bridging method earlier on in today's event. But Koliastasis keeping his hips and center of gravity perfectly in place and picks up his 4-point score. Koliastasis pulls ahead 5-0. The emphasis will now be on Hightower. He's got to work. Koliastasis, a very aggressive wrestler. Great takedowns, dangerous submissions as we've seen so far. Shoots it again. Hightower with a front headlock. Koliastasis digging for his underhooks. He's got control of Hightower's right arm. The clinch is broken now. Koliastasis, an experienced jiu-jitsu, and Koliastasis also experienced in catch wrestling. Also trains jiu-jitsu, wrestled in high school and college. Back to the center here. A couple minutes left in this match. Nico with a nice knee tap there to get the 1-point takedown. Hightower now looking to get control of something, using a bit of a butterfly guard here. Koliastasis passes the guard. He's already collected his pin points, so he will not be looking for a pin here. I'm guessing he's going to be looking for a submission. We saw him use a key lock with the leg earlier today to win, and it looks like he's going for the same thing. Hightower looks like he's in a lot of trouble here, and that's going to be it. Oh, geez, I think we have another injury. That didn't sound good. Hightower, an injured elbow, it looks like. Looks like he was holding the elbow. Yeah, I think so. I must have pinched it. Looks like he's waving off the medic. He does not want to have a medic see him. Yes. But I think they're going to send one his way regardless. Let's take a look at that again. Great duck under by Koliastasis to get the first score of the match. He then holds the position, gets his pin points. Here's the second takedown. We saw a beautiful knee tap. Uses that to get his second score of the match. Nice 2-point takedown. At this point, he's already collected his pin points, so now the mission is submission. He passes the guard, gets to his scarf hold position. This is a position he favors. We've seen him do it in earlier matches today. Hightower looked like he was reaching around the shoulder to maybe try to bridge and roll him, but Koliastasis does such a good job of putting his weight in the correct place. Excellent distribution of his center of balance. Hooks up the key lock. Looked like Hightower tried to tap with the leg, but he was already bridging, so it made for an awkward foot tap, and looks like his elbow may have gave a little bit. And Nico Koliastasis, for the third time, secures the first place spot in the 90-kilogram division. He will represent Team USA once again. All right, we are ready for our final match for the 100-kilogram division. We've got Matt Paul out of 10th Planet Chicago up against Steve Yoke from Maryland, out of Sport Judo in Maryland. Both these guys have had great performances today. Yoke looking for a single. Yoke has a tendency to step right into single legs very nicely. He just goes for subtle, simple takedowns, and he collects them accumulatively. Great strategy. Matt Paul, definitely a submission specialist. He's also got some great takedowns of his own. Matt Paul, a professional MMA fighter and a veteran of Bellator. Yoke goes for a self-sacrifice there, but unfortunately pulls Matt Paul right on top of him. Matt Paul looks like he's got control of the midsection here. Yoke looked like he was thinking about going for a roll through, but didn't quite have the space. Paul maybe setting up a Greco throw here. That would be interesting. Looks like he's opting now for a guillotine. Yoke recognizes that, has a 2-on-1 control of the wrist. Let's see whether or not Paul can squeeze through that control, and he does. Quick guillotine win for Matt Paul, and Matt Paul is now our 100-kilogram representative of Team USA. Let's take a look at this again. I thought I was going to see a Alex Carolyn-style throw here. A little Greco action. Looks like Matt Paul abandoned that, saw the opening for the guillotine. Yoke intelligently put a 2-on-1 grip on that left wrist, but it didn't look like it was enough. Matt Paul was able to roll him through, carry his weight over, and add the pressure downwards from topside, which was too much for Yoke to be able to fend off. Great transition there by Matt Paul, and he is now your 100-kilogram gold medalist today, and he will represent Team USA at the Worlds in October right here in St. Louis. All right, and the following match is between Artie Gruba and Dylan Manus. The winner of this match will get to face Gabe Buberthy for the third place of this division. Manus out of TK Martial Arts in Arkansas, Jiu-Jitsu blue belt. Artie Gruba representing SBG out of Illinois. Purple belt in Jiu-Jitsu. Nice throw by Gruba. Big 4-point takedown. Beautifully done. And it looks like he has a good isolation here of the shoulder. Looks like he's going to sink in for an arm triangle. And that's a submission for Arthur Gruba. Excellent 4-point throw. Maintained control and sunk in that beautiful arm triangle submission. Let's take a look at this again. Manus steps in for a trip, for an inside trip. Gruba spins around, gets his hips underneath him, throws him over, maintains the shoulder in position, keeps his head controlling tight on the elbow to prevent it from coming back to the ground, and he sinks down for an excellent tight arm triangle submission. Nowhere to go for Manus. And now Artie Gruba will move on to fight for third place in the 100-plus kilogram division. All right, fast forward just a little bit here. We have Gabe Buberthy against Artie Gruba. Artie Gruba just coming off a great quick submission win over Dylan Manus. This is for third place in the 100-plus kilogram division. Once again, Artie Gruba out of SBG, Illinois, BJJ purple belt. Also a college wrestler. He wrestled out of Calumet College. Judo brown belt. Artie displayed some beautiful judo in his last match with a great hip throw. Gabe Buberthy, lifelong wrestler representing 719 MMA in Colorado, competes nationally and internationally. This guy's tied up here, pummeling for control a little bit. Gabe Buberthy goes for a shoulder throw. Nice attempt, close. Couldn't quite keep control of the arm. No score on the board yet. Gruba rolls through, going for a leg maybe. Can't quite get the, I don't quite think he had the clearance to get himself underneath there. Buberthy keeping heavy pressure here. Gruba again looking to roll through. Can't quite find the opening he needs. And referee Vlad Kulikov going to stand them up and restart them from the center. Buberthy looks like he's getting a body lock set up. Arthur trying for a throw. Buberthy drives through, and that's going to be a 1-point takedown for taking Artie down to his butt from that back clinch position. So Buberthy up on points, 1-0. Look for Gruba to set up a judo-style throw. And once it goes to the ground, Gruba has also displayed some excellent submission abilities so far today. Buberthy pummeling for those underhooks. Looks like he's got him now. Let's see what he can do with them. Making a frame against the face. Got about a minute left in the match here. A little over the halfway point of the match here. Okay, Buberthy keeping a tight wrist control on Artie's right wrist. Looks like Artie just freed his hand as I said that. And we are inching out of that, to the out of bounds area. Looks like Gruba is going to pick up a caution. So Artie is now down 1 point, and he has a caution against him. So he's going to have to really get aggressive here, put something together. Snap down attempt from Buberthy. Gruba keeps his balance. Back in tight. Gruba keeping that head position tight under Buberthy's chin. Another snap down attempt by Buberthy. Gruba down for a shot there. Couldn't quite time it. He was a little far away for that. And Buberthy follows up with a front headlock. Getting pretty short on time here. Buberthy looks like he's just going to weigh heavy. Maybe trying to ride this one out. He knows he's ahead of point. Going to need to show some forward progression here to avoid picking up a caution himself. Gruba trying to work in towards those legs. Buberthy keeping his hips far out of the way. Gruba looks like he might be thinking of a sit out here. He's getting control of that inside of the left arm with his right. But we are out of time. Gabe Buberthy takes third place in the 100-plus kilogram division. Let's look at some of this again. This is the point that won the match pretty much. He got a body lock. Gruba tried to respond with a throw, and Buberthy kept his base, drove forward, driving Gruba to his butt, getting a 1-point score. And that is what won the match. And Gabe Buberthy is your third place winner for the 100-plus kilogram division. And we are ready for our final match of the day, guys. This is the 100-plus kilogram division final between Eric Hubner and Keith Steinacher. Both these guys out of Illinois. Nice drag motion there from Hubner, bringing Steinacher down to his belly, and picking up a 1-point score. Let's see what he can do with this. Looking like he's trying to get his back mount control points. And he's got the hooks in. If he can hold it for 3 seconds, he picks up another score. Picks up his positional points there. 2-0 for Eric Hubner. Steinacher getting to the half guard. This is a preferred position for Keith Steinacher. Both of these guys, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu purple belts, very savvy on the ground, also both lifelong wrestlers. Steinacher has a very diverse set of takedown skills. Eric Hubner with a nice shot, beautifully scored. That's a 2-point takedown Takes Steinacher down to the side. Let's see if he can get some pinpoints here to add to that. That'll put him 8 points ahead if he can keep this for 30 seconds. Steinacher trying to turn towards the hips of Hubner. Hubner doing a nice job of keeping chest-to-chest control. Steinacher trying to clear the hips. He's moving to the north-south position now. Eric Hubner scores his 4 points.
3 minutes, Eric. 3 minutes.
So now he is now 8 points ahead of Keith Steinacher. This is a big lead. We're now moving back to the center again. Hubner dropping levels, picks the ankle, drives him over. He's going to maintain back-to-chest position, so that's still a 4-point takedown, and that is a technical win. That is 12-0. Eric Hubner has just become the 100-plus kilogram champion of today's event, and he will represent Team USA at the Worlds in October. Let's see some of this again. Little snap down there that turns into a 1-point takedown because Keith landed on his belly. Hubner shoots in again with a beautiful shot here, drives him forward to his side, scoring 2 points. Holds that position for 30 seconds to get a 4-point score for pins. And this is where he closed it out. Another beautiful takedown there. Ankle pick, drives him through, chest to back control. And that is a 4-point takedown because Keith went straight to his back. And that is a great technical win by Eric Hubner. Great performance today. He will be your 100-plus kilogram representative for Team USA in the 2018 USA Combat Wrestling Worlds in October right here in St. Louis. And that concludes the USA Combat Wrestling 2018 Nationals in St. Louis, folks. We really appreciate you tuning in. Big congratulations to all of our athletes that came out and performed today, and big congratulations to the 2018 Team USA members, Eric Hubner, Matt Paul, Myron Crawford, Brett Milano, Daniel Rodriguez, and Nico Koliastasis. These guys will be representing Team USA at the Combat Wrestling World Championships right here in St. Louis in October 2018. They will be competing against Team Bulgaria, Team Hungary, Team Japan, Team Malta, and Team Mexico. We will also be bringing that event to you in October, and if you're in the St. Louis area, please be sure to come check it out. It'll be going down at Parkview High School, October 20th and the 21st in St. Louis, Missouri. For more information about USA Combat Wrestling, you can go to combatwrestling.us. You can also follow the Instagram at USA Combat Wrestling, and the Facebook page is facebook.com/USA Combat Wrestling. Once again, my name's Ryan Ford. It was a pleasure being your commentator today. I run the Grappling Central podcast, and I'll be interviewing all of the members of Team USA who won their spot on the team today. You can listen to that for free on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, Google Play, and Podbean, and anywhere else that podcasts can be found. You can follow the show at grapplingcentral.com, and you can also follow my Instagram at grappling_central, and the Facebook page is facebook.com/grapplingcentral. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you in October for the USA Combat Wrestling Worlds.